Got a tranny beer. Okay. Here we are. Another blue collar podcast, sponsored by Tranny Beer. And today, our topic is basically the highest blue collar jobs. What job pays 100,000 plus, and how do you achieve that?
Yeah, what do we got?
Okay.
We're going to dive into a little bit outside of just construction, I think. It's going to be...
Yeah, well, on my end of things, as blue collar, I had a blue collared worker. I was an oil patch. So I did oil and gas, I did drilling rigs, I did pipeline and trucking. So with all those conglomerations, I worked like 8 months a year and I made about 80, 90 grand a year.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. And then you're framing.
Yeah, so I'm around more the plumber, the electrician, the carpenter, the roofer.
Yeah.
Drywaller, crackhead. The roofer, crackhead, dog. Yeah, you know, I'm more around your traditional trades that you see around town a little more often.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you're going to touch more on the pipe fitters and the guys.
Right. Yeah, that was...
probably the unsung heroes that no one really thinks about when they think of oil and all that kind of stuff and how the world goes around.
And they got electricians and they got, I guess they got pipe fitters or plumbers just for big boy plumbing.
Yep. And then I think what are we going to touch on? Other trades that neither one of us are too familiar with. And
mechanics.
Hope you hear some feedback on it, like the power line installers. Elevator mechanics. I know I've been told they
welders.
I know a few welders. They don't drive around like they make a lot of money, but
so
I've seen their invoices. So I think they do all right. Yeah, I think they do all right. So
on your end of things, for construction, building condos, building houses, what is the best paying job? And 6 figures.
If I could go back and do another trade,
okay,
I feel like electrician is something I could make a lot of money at.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I had 10 electricians working under me, I'd be a millionaire. But I feel like as a framer, we do pretty good, right? But I guess it just depends. Like, you don't want to work for the man.
No.
Anyone working for the man, you can make a livable wage. I don't think it's enough to... You'll never get rich working for the man.
You will never get rich, and it's just... You're going to be comfortable, though.
You'll feed your kids, you'll get into retirement, no problem.
Yeah,
you'll
65.
be all right. Yep, but you don't have the stress, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with working for the man either, right? Like,
no. Like, it's not for me.
No, it's not for me, but some days I think about it. I'm just, I've had job offers, and maybe.
Okay, well, give me an example of that job. What job offer?
Like, I had a client of mine. They were so busy that they wanted to start their own framing division, and asked me if I'd come and do that for them.
Really?
Company truck, but they offer you a salary that.
What's the salary? What was the salary?
I think you want like 120,000 a year.
It's just not enough.
And I was going into like one of the biggest booms I've seen in my working, since I've been in business, and I was like, oh, that makes no sense right now.
No.
I see why they want to do it, but it would have been pretty cushy, right? It's like 8 hours a day, company truck, go home. I thought about it.
Did ya?
Even though being the wife just had our first kid at the time, and it was like, it would get me home a lot more. But
and you'd be a quitter.
But
frickin' quitter.
Yeah, that wasn't. I made a good decision.
Yeah.
No, good company. It would have been a good company to work for. Don't get me wrong. I still like doing their jobs now. I still have good relations with them.
Yeah.
Now was a good time for them and not for me. So.
But what about an electrician? Why electrician over framing? Is this because there's going to be more going on in the future with electricians? There's electric cars. There's everything is going electric, it seems.
Well, yeah, but shit, man. There's like 10 different types of electrician now, right? Auto electrician, elevator electrician.
Yeah.
Residential, regular electric. There's just so many different scopes of electrical. But I feel like it's a job where you're not lifting massive weights. you're always moving, right? You should
yeah.
always move. Like as soon as you stop moving, that's when I feel like you're gonna die, right? But you're always moving, right? You know, pulling wire. Yes, it can be strenuous, but it's little. It's not real heavy lifting. Like I feel like it's a trade you could do for
a long time.
A long time. Like you could do it into your 60s and you'd be all right. You know, you just take on the work you want. Like don't get me wrong, everyone gets a bad back. They still work. Like I've seen those guys.
Well,
they're on the drill hunched over all day with an auger bit. Like it's not. Yeah, like it's not great work, but typically that's your apprentice, the guy with the young backs doing that kind of work. And
okay,
yeah,
I know.
It's a trait that's not going anywhere.
No, there's gonna be more. The welder. I think some of the most highest paid guys I know from the oil patch like run a truck, so a welding truck. Yeah. They go to the pipeline. I know, but they work like 300 days a year, maybe 320. Like they work a lot, but those guys can pull in like close to $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
But you're, maybe you have one or two trucks, but holy crap, like
you're away from your family a lot.
You're away from your family, and the thing that's just like your typical laying down beads on a pipeline. There's like specialty welders, like ones that fab up, toolboxes.
Yeah.
And one of those aluminum toolboxes on a truck, like a service truck, like $40,000. The aluminum ones,
yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
like $40,000 for a toolbox.
It's expensive to set up those trucks.
Yeah, damn right.
Like, what's the truck? $100,000 for the truck? Like, so $100,000 in the truck, $40,000 for the bed. Like,
and then you got the tools. Another $100,000 for tools.
You're near $250,000 just before you start working.
So
that's why I guess that's probably why a lot of them drive around in old piece of shit trucks, right? Like
the good ones.
Oh no! You work your way up into the nice trucks.
The diesels.
Oh, old diesel, right?
Oh, yeah, you get those jacked up diesels though. Oh yeah.
I see him pulling their bumper hitch holiday trailer with this big welding rig on the back, and
with a clevis in the bottom.
Oh man, it's like they don't have suspension in the back; it's just a straight rod welder. Like they've welded their own suspension stiffeners and stuff. Oh man, those guys, they're a different breed of dude.
Okay, how about the I know you said elevator. I have no experience with elevator shafts.
Mine's minimal. But minimal experience, but the way they carry themselves is you have no choice but to use me, and what I say goes. Like you roll out the red carpet for these guys, man. Like rose petals and all. Like if it's not perfect, we'll book you in 3 months. Too bad. Like, and they know it, man. Like there's only like a very few companies like around here where we are. At least I think there's only one in the valley here. Well, you're going to pay massive amounts of money to get someone else.
So then, like,
pretty important trade.
Yeah, do you need to be schooled or educated?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
They're their own mechanics, man. It's their
own thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like a crane operator? Like a crane operator?
Even, like, not just anyone can go be an elevator mechanic, right?
Like, so crackheads not welcome.
Oh, no. These are straight shooters, man. Like, these guys are
upper
nerds.
echelons.
Like, they're nerds. Like,
nerds?
Oh, yeah. They carry this swagger they haven't earned, but they know, they know. It's like
they know they let you buy the ball.
Oh yeah, okay, you need them because they're the only ones around that can do it. You know what I mean? Like I can do a little bit of form work and pour you some concrete, right? As a framer, I can do that for you, pass inspection. Electrician can't go wire up an elevator or put hoisting in an elevator. Only an elevator mechanic can do all this.
So they have an absolute monopoly.
Oh, yeah. Nobody else can do what they do. And pass inspections, blah, blah, blah. And they just own it. They own that trade. Like a carpenter can be... a lot of different other trades, right?
That's why you're
like a carpenter can be a cider, he can be a roofer, he can be a concreter, he can be so many different things. Elevator mechanic, man, that's his piece of the pie, and no one else gets a piece.
All right.
No one else gets it. So.
I think that's like along with those power line putter-uppers. The big ones?
Yeah.
Have you heard about that at all? Because
I don't think they've privatized it here. So Fortis runs the show on that. So you take a ticket, get in line, and we may call the number behind you before we call yours. Like there's no honor system there, and they're very difficult to deal with. From really told from a client, like, yeah, we got a job coming up, and there's a power line going over the building there, and they basically had to do the foundation up to there, and it's being held up for months
because of
Fortis can come through and move the power line because no one else is allowed to touch it. Alberta, there's like several companies that are like privatized.
Yeah.
So it's just they're quick, like boom, boom, boom. Private companies, they work hard, right? They got to pay the shareholders. They
Capitalism, best system ever. Best system ever.
The government employees. Shit, like we talked about last week, 3:30. There's tail lights.
See you later.
Bye. But however, when shit hits the fan, like those fires, when it's raining, snowing, and all that shit, they're up in those pickers. They got to turn the power back on.
Yeah.
They have to do it quickly, so it's not all rainbows and sunshine for those guys, right? They're out in the fucking horrible shit too.
For those guys, like, I know also with oil and gas, it's such a variety of things. So there's truck drivers, there's welders, directional drillers for the oil, plant managers.
An entire skyscraper in Calgary that tells them how to do their job, even though they don't know how to do their job, but they'll tell them they're doing it wrong.
And most of them are hourly, but the reason why like oil patch workers get paid so much is because we're away from home, and we get LOA, so living is free, and then you basically work for 2 weeks to 3 weeks to like 50 days, and then you just bank those hours.
Nothing to spend the money.
Nothing
on.
to. Well, the boys will find. The boys will find.
If you're in the bush, there's nothing to buy, but
they'll find a way to get whatever they need. But
the escort service.
Yeah,
run the limousine out. Yeah, the boys. They have phone numbers. They can call. They got their people.
But everyone in the patch, even as an entry level, you're making roughly. If you work the year, you'll make roughly $100,000. But like to get to like the upper echelons, you have to start becoming like inspector or crew leaders of the operation of your thing. So what I wanted to touch base on too is like, so I would say there's like 3 levels of where, depending on what you want to accomplish, but there's like 3 levels of where like you can make more income in the trade. So the entry level is you just get paid hourly.
Yeah,
so you're home every night.
Place, you got to honing your craft too. Right?
Yeah, and that's where you start.
Just you put your 4 years in as an apprentice. You come out, you got your trade, man. Like 80% of that shit you learn in school is useless.
Yeah,
you there's no substitute for experience.
No,
if you worked,
and then it's
this is a subject that'll. It'll divide people, but if you've worked union, you're not on my, you're not at the top of my list for hiring. Put it that way.
No.
Like I'll look at you, but yeah, like union guys that have spent their entire day like working, like when I'm put a job ad out and it's like this union, that union, I'll typically just turn the page.
Right. Yeah.
That don't get me in trouble. That's probably discriminated. I'm learning all this stuff as I go. Right. I can't discriminate for certain. I can't ask people their age, things like that. But union is never done me very well.
Well, I have a buddy.
In hiring.
I have a buddy who was working on drilling rigs. So that's one of the most hardcore, hard work you'll ever do. Different breed of human being, and he just got a job in an iron mill in Edmonton, and he does union, and he's just like, I literally can't believe I get paid what I get paid for doing absolutely nothing. He's like, I get pensions, I get all these bonuses, and I literally can sleep my entire shift, and they can't fire me. I mean, if he's going to get paid for that.
Yeah.
But me and him had the conversation from working drilling rigs to doing that. It's just like, it's like almost a crime. He feels like guilty sometimes because like he went from like the most hardworking, let's get it done. We have a schedule. We have to beat other rigs to win because capitalism. To where I can have a nap. I'm gonna have my 3 o'clock nap now.
But maybe that's how it is. Like some guys, they go out. Yeah, they work hard. They get after it. They're the guys that should probably go into business for themselves. But you go work for a union, you see what they really are.
Yeah.
Because guys that aren't wired to work for a union can be fired for working in a union for being too aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I couldn't go to a union because any of the dog fuck, they always dog fuck because they'd be just reaming them. I'm like, how do you
exist?
This shift is going to take twice as long. Like let's go. People are paying for this. I don't care how rich they are.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like let's go. So I could never do it.
So we're back to like the entry level of getting paid. I think like the main thing for a lot of people do, but like and getting income in the trades, you always will get paid what you're worth, depending on what you want to accomplish. So there's an hourly wage, that is your typical 8 hours a day. You go home, you watch hockey with your buds, and you live you don't have a lot of responsibility, basically, other than your basics, right? And then there's the other, let's just take an electrician, for example. An electrician that works in Edmonton gets paid $37 an hour, home 8 hours, home every night, no overtime, good life. Then there's the electrician that works in like the oil refinery, the plants in Fort Mac, 2 weeks on, 1 week off.
10 and 10.
10 and 10.
200 grand a year.
200 grand a year. He's getting paid $60 an hour plus overtime, plus LOA. He's making 200 grand a year. And then that'd be your second tier of making more income, but you sacrifice more. You don't get to see your family. You don't get to see your friends.
6 months of the year, you don't see people.
Yeah, you just,
and if that 10 and 10 lands on Christmas Day, well, boo-hoo, too bad.
that's the way she goes, you know?
Take it or leave it. So you compensated.
Yeah.
You compensate you.
When you leave important things, 'cause I did shift work, and that's why I got paid so well, was because, you know, I could, overtime, I'm working 84 hours a week, and then you don't see your friends. I have lost a lot of contact with a lot of friends just because I'm not home, right? And then the final one, which you will be in a city, but and you can see your family more, but then you take on the most responsibility, and that's being a subcontractor or a business owner. Now you did this.
Yeah.
And I started a business, and oh my God, like the amount of responsibility that gets tacked on. It's like you got to find the work, you got to find the guys, you got to network. You know, it's not like the workday starts and the workday ends. It's like it's 24 hours. You're on call nonstop, always. Whether you're even on holiday, it doesn't end.
Sunday, your phone has to be on. Every day of the week, your phone is on.
And whether you
night,
work on
your
Sunday,
kid down, you put your kid to bed, your phone better be on.
Right?
Like it's got to be on.
But the profit is limitless.
Oh, the limit does not exist.
The limit does not exist. The
Yeah.
only thing that will limit you is how far you can reach it, which is really cool. So you got your first tier is, your hourly wage. Your second tier is you get paid the best in environments that probably aren't as pleasant. And then there's becoming the business owner. And depending on how creative you are, is the amount of ability you can do.
As a subcontractor, you got to play the market. You got to understand. You got to pick up on the vibes. Like, how busy is this client? How many of my competitors does this client have in his list of contacts? So me, like, I got several clients that have, say, 4 or 5 guys they can use. Well, some of them at the top of their list, some of them at the middle of their list, some I haven't built a good enough relationship with, some at the bottom of their list, right?
Right.
But the ones that aren't at the top of their list are the ones I know that'll always have work. So I stay at the top of their list. If they just say slow down, they're not doing anything, or they're between jobs, man, I'll call them. I'll call them just middle of the day. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? Just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Try not to even talk about work. Just say, hey, how's it going? Like, everything moving all right? Yeah. How's the family, right? I'll go out and be like, I'll ask them things like how the kids are doing, what the kids, what are your kids into? And being from Australia, I'm pretty lucky. A lot of Canadians go to Australia, right? So this guy went there, that guy went there. It's a good talking topic for conversation, right? And a lot of them are like, yeah, I've either been there, or my kids going there, or their friends been there, and you just let it go. But take the time out of your day just to make a 10-minute phone call just to see how they're doing.
Right.
Say hi. Even if they're probably busy as shit and they don't want to take your call, but
I think
it's just a just keep the relationship built, right?
And that's one of the most important things about being a subcontractor or an owner, is that the ability to network. Obviously, doing a good job is super important, but the ability to network with the right people, and then with other business owners, because even you right now, you're in cahoots with another framing company, and you guys work together to do a bigger job because you need more guys.
Yeah, like it got dropped on us. Like, it's not typically how I operate, but this one got brought to me and it was like, hey, can you start yesterday type thing? And it was like, oh shit, okay, well, I don't have, typically you get these contracts months in advance, so you got time to build up your sub crew and get everything in order. But this was just like, and let's go. Yeah. Time to go. So I was just like, hey, can you do this? You start making phone calls, and that first guy that kind of says, yeah, I'm in. You're in, and then then they make their terms. Hey, we're gonna need to be,
but that's the
a 50-50 split or whatever. And you're like, fuck, okay, whatever. You always, because you found the work, you always want to get the bigger piece, right? But
yeah. No, that's the creativity of it, though. That's why it's so cool being a business owner, because it's just like it's not one blueprint. It's whatever blueprint you think you can create in this world.
Yeah.
You're completely at, you know what? You can start calling people in Vancouver and saying, "Hey, you need a framer."
Yeah.
And you can call people in Saskatchewan. And if you know the right people, you can put in two and two together and probably build a framing division.
Yeah.
Which is pretty badass.
Yeah, like around here, it's really hard to keep. Like the amount of guys we need for these sites is enormous. We got two running at once right now, so we need 30 guys.
Yeah.
So what do I do with 30 guys when both those jobs are done?
I don't know. What do you do?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
So not everyone there's an employee, right? A lot of them are the subcontractors, and they piecework. Right. I have a set amount that I'll pay per. Like this is what you do with me, right? Like you guys, and hey, but when the work runs out,
well, we're shit out of luck.
Well, I hope everyone saves their money, and I've never had the work run out before, but it is in the back of my mind at all times. I always have your kitty behind you. And
what about
don't rush into a job because you got a week delay too, right? Like just take a week off.
How do you make sure you have a constant like as a subcontractor, or an owner? How do you make sure you keep bidding on jobs, or do you go to job sites and say, "Hey, I'm Dave, I'm a framer"? Like, what do you do?
When I first started, I just worked the phones. Hey, I'm Dave, I'm a framer, I'm moving here. Like, this is how I got to Kelowna, right? Like, hey, I'm Dave, I'm a framer. Can I sit down and have a cup of coffee and we have a conversation on how I can earn your business?
Right.
And it's very direct. It's very direct. They're like, yeah, you know what? I got this time, 10 a.m. Thursday. And it'll be Tuesday. Well, I'm in Edmonton. Pack up the car, rip out here to have a cup of coffee. And that's what we did.
Amazing.
I probably did 12 trips out here just to come out, cup of coffee with people. But I've never run out of work.
That is...
you're selling yourself, right? You got to sell yourself to
these
people.
Right?
Like, hey, this is my resume. This is, not so much a resume, but this is my portfolio of the work I do.
Right.
I think this is how I can benefit you.
Okay.
This is where, and they'll be like, you know what? And this is pretty standard across the most common response I get is, we've been using this guy for a long time, but he's been really dropping the ball lately, and we haven't had anyone to kind of really...
Right.
So, I'd like to give you these two houses.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how you go. It'll put a stick in him, see how he reacts. Maybe he picks his game up, and that works for their company. Yeah. But at the same time, when they give me these two houses, my whole, what I need to do is blow him out of the water. I throw my best.
Crush his bones.
Just do such a better job, better, faster. When
more
things go
enjoyable
wrong,
experience.
but when the client makes a mistake, don't get mad at them. Don't pile on them. Say, no, man, these things happen. Like, you know what I mean? But just make them feel good. Like, oh man, I fucked him up there, but he didn't even lose his shit on me. Save that for when you've gotten rid of him, and now they've only got you to deal with. Now you can put, you don't put the screws to them by any stretch, but you can be a little more assertive with what your needs are now.
How do you find so? Obviously, this is for the trades. How do you transition from becoming an hourly guy to becoming a subcontractor and getting that? So, like for you, how did you transition into because that's kind of the mission. It's just like, how do you make as much money possible with the amount of hours you have?
A lot of guys, I know for framing, a lot of guys will frame for 6 months and think they know what they're doing. Oh, well, yeah, they know how to put a roof on, they know how to bang a wall. Great. They have no fucking clue about business. Right. They don't know how to build clientele. They don't know, but they jump in because it's busy. They just leave a path of destruction in their wake. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for me, it was a little more old fashioned. I went and worked with a guy. Worked my way up the ranks within him to the point where he was building houses on the side, so we wouldn't see him very often. Sometimes there'd be days I wouldn't see him, but I started running his operation, and then it turned into him going away on vacation for a while there, and I don't know where I went. And I ran it, and then a lady came around and said, "Hey, I got this house around the corner. I want to do cash." And I was like, "Oh yeah, my boss, we were actually running out of work. He told us to take a couple weeks off after this. Yeah, I can squeeze your house in." So I got my first job working on his side, finishing it up, and he didn't really have the next job lined up because I think we'd kind of just done the work he'd left for us to do while he was on vacation. We just kind of smashed it out, and at the end of the day, because I'm working for the man, if I start working, I'm not making any money.
No, it sucks.
Good for him. He just fucking halved his wage time in doing this job, so we made him a ton of money. He appreciated that. He showed his gratitude. Like Christmas time came around, he was very generous all the time, no matter what. Even the first time I went to Vegas, you know, he gives me an envelope full of money. Says, make sure you take the missus out for dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I go take her for a nice.
You took you out to Vegas?
No, I went down with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. I met her family, and the night before we leave, like we're leaving the next morning, he gave me this handful of cash. I think go in American currency. Like, it's a pretty good wad there. And he said, go take her. He said, I appreciate what you've done for me. This is for you. So, and then all I can think about is, fuck yeah, this is just going to make Vegas awesome. And now I can't wait to get back and just work hard for him. You know what I mean? Because he's always very, very appreciative, and he's very generous with his money and stuff. But so I went and did that house for her. Frugally, you know.
You're a high roller now.
Oh, you just got a ton of cash. I don't think it's 60. It was probably less than that. It was just, all you got is cash, and you just spend. Your clothes are better, your vehicle gets all the upgrades. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, oh, fuck, never doing that again. Just gonna charge you 5%, pay the GST. You know what I mean? So I learned that. But he came back and we'll finish the night. He goes, "Oh, what was this job about?" I'm like, you went around, so I just
did your own.
So and then I knocked on her door and she said, "Yeah, I can keep you busy." And I didn't tell him that she came to our site, but it was like, either that or take 2 weeks off.
And that's where you started becoming a subcontractor.
Well, that's when I showed him that I don't necessarily need him, but he still needed me. So now he started changing his angle a little bit, where, I went back to Australia there, and I came back and said to him, "Look, man, I think I might move home." Right. I was really enjoying Australia, and he just told me that, look, how about you start your own company? Right. Yeah, and then he started subbing me houses, take a little bit of commission, and that worked great. That worked great.
Is that like a pretty good system to do when you, when you have to find good subcontractors to give them that, I find you the work, and then you just... Yeah.
It's a lot less, pretty easy paperwork. Pretty easy paperwork, you just invoice. That's it. You don't take care of the customer relations, you don't do nothing. Just turn up, do your job, invoice him. You get paid when he gets paid. You take on the risk he's always taken on, but...
And then...
Pretty good deal.
Doing being an owner, do you work more hours or less hours, or more... What's the main thing you do? Like, just basically to solve problems then? Like, you just put out fires?
I'm thinking about 6 months from now. Right. What am I doing in 6 months from now? Because I'm looking forward now. Yeah, we're good till... What are we at here now? Mid-October. I got a few fires in the iron. Irons in the fire, however you want to say it. But I got a few things I'm looking at, but, they're March, April. I got choices. Right. So... That's where I'm at now, making sure in 6 months from now, we hit the ground running. But to ensure my guys stick around, my sub crews are happy, and they're not taking time off, every job needs to overlap. Right. So as you're exiting, the other one needs to start before that finishes. So no one's ever stopping. It's just a machine.
Because if it stops, they might go somewhere else, and then you lose valuable allies.
The next guy might not make him take any time off.
Right.
But I do have employees as well. Not everyone's a subcontractor. No, I need to keep them, but, those guys need to stay busy. Some of them would love to take the time off, but I'm not about that.
No.
No days off. You
never
take days off when you retire. Or...
And then how do you, because now you're in the point of, the sky's the limit of what you can make. What is your strategy to, like, how do you even get to the next level? Like, how do you become even bigger, just having more contract jobs, bigger contract jobs?
I think you got to reach out and take on more than you can, bite off more than you can chew. Okay. And then try and fill that with bodies. And that's, to be honest with you, we're a little bit at that now. Like, where it's like, I'm looking for more bodies now. Just like, I got just job souls. 1, 2, 3, you got 3 / there's going to be 4 jobs all overlapping each other. And none of them are going to wait. So right, yeah. I need to get
and the boys.
10 guys need to go here to start this. 10 guys need to finish this up. 10 guys need to be halfway through this.
And then you got to pick and choose which guys are there, because some guys are better at other things.
And this day they might be there. Yes, and not all guys can do the same tasks. And so, that's... Oh, man. That's where we're at right now.
Damn right. Busy.
Oh yeah, good problems. Like
Good
very good
problems.
problems. Yeah,
Good
but they are
problems.
problems, and you do it to yourself. But it's like
Yeah.
if you're in business, man, you gotta hustle, get after
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that, so yeah, basically, trades make $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. And it depends, and again, it all depends on what you think you're worth. Like, I remember when I worked in the pipeline, I was happy at one point making $30 an hour. And then I was like, I'm not happy with that anymore. And then it was boom, I was making $45 an hour. And it's just like, yeah, like, I just think I can do better. And then it was just like, okay. And then I was making, I was working less hours, but I was making $80. And then, you just, once you decide what you're worth, once you decide to have that position in life, I'm going to decide what I'm worth. That's when things will start to change and your mind will gear into another reality.
I don't know what to call this guy, but there's always that guy like for framing, like, so I'll have my employees. Say I got an employee, it's $35 an hour, right? And he gets all the overtime he wants, knows pretty much how to do everything, right? He just won't make the big decisions on his own, which is fine.
He just
but he can do everything. Yeah. But he's very good at what he does. He runs things when you're not around. So you got that guy at $35 an hour, and then out of the blue, you'd be like, yeah, you ask a contractor, hey, can you come? And this guy, he's hardly worth feeding. You know what I mean? Like he shows up with fucking no frills tools, Ryobis. Like, he shows up with the Ryobi, he's just fucking useless. You gotta hold his hand the whole way through the job, and it's just like, yeah, so I was thinking like $55-$60 an hour. And it's like, no. Well, what do you think? You don't want to know what I think. You really don't.
Well, they're everywhere because he chose to decide to be that, and someone will pay him that. There will be someone out there.
And they did the rest of us a real disservice by doing it. They got so desperate they were going to pay that clown that much money, and it's like
the way she goes.
Where did you get that? I need to go talk to that person. I need to go have a conversation with them and say, I will loan you one of my guys so you don't ever do that again. God. Like, to keep the prices down. Like that, you're making them feel like they honestly believe they're worth it. Like, they believe it. They honestly think that if you don't pay it, you're just the biggest piece of shit ever. It's like, dude, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a name for that? Dude, not worth it. Like, I don't know.
It's true. It's true. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's But yeah, I don't know. You got to put in your time.
Put your time, and
put in
then
your time.
Be creative, and then you'll be worth what you think you're worth.
Yeah, but just remember, there's nothing wrong with working for the man. Again, it's just not for everyone, right?
I would disagree.
But
I would disagree. Would you do it?
Oh, I can't. I can't.
No,
I can't answer to people, but some people can.
And
it's good for them.
And I don't like having that. Like,
but without them, my business doesn't survive.
No, the world doesn't survive.
No. So guys that do that, they got their role. If they're happy with it, they find an employer that looks after them.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. That concludes
another week.
Another Blue Collar Podcast.